Okay, thank you so much for being here and for joining me for this workshop. So today we are going to talk about how you're going to make your website successful. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because it's not that difficult to build a website these days, but to build a website that's going to grow your business and bring you clients is a whole different ballgame. So let me jump straight in. I have a lot of content to cover and I really want to make sure that I am giving you the best use of your time. So I appreciate you being here. I'm going to cover a lot of content and I'm going to talk quite quickly. So let's just jump straight in. We're talking about the simple secrets to a successful website that actually sell your services. And what I want to make sure is that we're going to work through some of the things that you need to put on your website in order for it to be successful. So I know that you know this stuff, but we're going to talk through a lot of things. I'm going to talk really fast. So to give yourself the best chance to take advantage of the content, please turn off your distractions. All those cute kitty photos on your phone, please just turn them onto silent. And I know that you know this stuff already, but we can train ourselves to be scattered and overwhelmed, or we can train ourselves to be focused and present. And the more present you are, the more value you are going to get from this content, because distraction is a dream killer. So I would love to know that you are focused and that you're going to stay with me for the next 60 minutes. So let's just talk very briefly and give you a very quick insight to who I am. So some of you may have already worked through one of my content, my Confident Website Creation Challenges in the past, and some of you may know very little about me. But here's a tiny snippet of background information. So my background is in marketing. I started life working for the BBC as part of a tiny team of 5 people during the transition from analog to digital. We were tasked with educating the nation about the switchover so that they understood all they needed to know about set-top boxes, and we were also tasked with promoting and launching the BBC's new digital channels such as BBC News 24. And from there, once our job was complete, the 5 of us were going to be absorbed into other areas of the BBC, and all of us decided to move on to pastures new because there was nothing within the corporation that was ever likely to match the excitement of that project that we had just completed. And so I decided to take time out and go traveling. And my intended 3 months of travel turned into a year and into several years. And before I knew it, my backpack was an integral part of my existence. And in order to fund this nomadic life, I worked along the way and I got jobs. And I was fortunate enough to land a job as a marketing executive for Nestle in Sydney. And I was tasked with marketing all of their kids' brands, including the likes of Smarties. And from there, I moved through to Southeast Asia and Central Asia and India and finally to Africa. And this is a photo of me sitting basically in my front garden in Zambia. This photo is taken from the door of my little wooden hut where I lived. And this river that you're looking at is the most crocodile and hippo infested river in Africa, in a remote region of the Luangwa Valley near the Congolese border. And nothing could have been further from websites than this existence that I was living at this particular moment in time. We were 3 hours drive from the nearest phone, and our only means of communication was via longwave radio or letters, which were sent via small aircraft, which would occasionally land on the airstrip that we had cleared. This region absolutely captured my heart. And I spent the following year in California volunteering for a conservation organization to preserve the natural environment in Zambia that had been my home throughout 2001. But here was the snag. We had a website, but actually paying the agency to update it was our biggest administrative expense. And every time we did some kind of update to our website, it was very literally taking a child out of school in Zambia or taking an anti-poaching patrol off patrol and endangering the lives of elephants. And so there was no option for me other than to knuckle down and learn how to do it in-house. It was the only option which made sense. And at the time, there was no YouTube, there was no Google. Really, the only means of learning was actually through books. But that moment when I made that first change to our website without bringing the whole thing crashing down, it was absolutely exhilarating and it was beyond liberating. The fear and the overwhelm that I felt during that time is the same fear that a lot of my clients feel when they start out their website journey. And it's a fear and overwhelm that I want to eliminate for all entrepreneurs, because there's no need for it to be that terrifying. So that journey that I took from marketing into websites, it opens my eyes to the fact that many small business owners, even back then, when tech was really horribly clunky and confusing, they wanted to be in control of their own websites. Our PR agency at the time, they asked if I could help them with their website, and so did one of our board of directors. And it really quickly became clear that there was this hunger for people to learn how to manage their own websites. And so in 2003, when I came back to the UK to get married, I started up a marketing agency, and specifically, I started helping people gain control of their websites. And since that time, I've won numerous awards. And in fact, just last week, I was named the most client-focused website coach in the East of England for the 3rd time. And it's an award that I've never applied for, and I can just only imagine that someone in my lovely community keeps putting me forward. So that gives you a little bit of background into the reason that I'm here, because I want to simplify the process for you, and I want to make sure that you understand how your website can work harder for you. And I know that you also have a reason for being here. And that reason might be different for every single one of us. It might be that you want more sales, and most of us do because we want to be growing our business. Or it might be that you want to make a difference in the world. And there are so many people within my community and within my audience who are change makers, and they really want to have an impact to change people's lives. It might be that you just want less overwhelm, and you want to understand what it is that you need to do in order to get competent and confident with all of your online tech and your online marketing. And of course, you want to see progress, and that might look like growth, or it might look like sales to you, but you want some kind of results. And it might be that you want more freedom, maybe freedom to spend more time with your family, freedom to spend more time traveling, or the freedom that you see that other people have through the success of their online businesses. And I want that for you too. And so it might be that you want to make more sales, make a difference, be less overwhelmed, make more progress, have more freedom. And whatever your rationale, whatever your reason is, I would love for you to write that down now and hold on to that reason, because that's what's going to drive you forward and making sure that you make this thing happen. So your website can unlock all of those results for you, but it can only do that if you put strategies in place. Because some of you may have heard me talking in the past about sleeping beauty websites. These are the websites that look gorgeous, but they never bring any results. And often people come to me and say, I've got this amazing website, I love it, I'm so proud of it, but it's literally never brought me a single inquiry in the whole time that it's been live. And those are the kind of websites which look amazing and which we're proud to send people to, but that they will never grow our business because there's no strategy behind them. So learning strategy now, early on in your online journey, it can save you hours. It can prevent that spaghetti approach where you're literally just throwing spaghetti at the wall and you're hoping some of it's going to stick. It can avoid you leaving money on the table, and it can actually save you money. And the reason why I say that is Janice, who has been a client of mine for the longest time, she's now a wonderful member in my Visibility Vault. She came on Rock That website, and she said that really learning how to do this stuff transformed her from someone who was really unsure and really lacking in confidence around operating WordPress to someone who's now happy operating in this environment. And she loves that she can now edit her website in a matter of moments without having to send instruction to a web developer, wait for changes to be made, and to have to actually pay for the service, because ultimately now she is saving time and money. And the more that you are in business, the more you grow, the more you will create. So I did a quick tally of some of the assets that I have built through my website and through my platforms, and I was just amazed. So 53 landing pages, 94 blog posts, over 100 course modules. I've sent thousands of emails, 28 sales pages, and I've done 5 website revamps of my existing website. And none of this includes any of the stuff that I've done for clients. I've literally built hundreds of websites over the years for clients and sent thousands of emails, built sales pages and landing pages and blog posts and goodness knows what. So this is just for my business. And you might be saying, yes, but Vicky, this is your business. This is what you do. It doesn't matter. This is the stuff that I was doing for the Conservancy back in 2003. I was starting to do this stuff for them. Whether you are a VA, a graphic designer, a web designer, a clockmaker, a jewelry artist, whatever you are going to be creating these kind of assets in your business as well. And in order to do that, you need to get good at copywriting, you need to be good at sales, you need to be good at marketing and design and tech. And strategy feeds into the success of every single one of those areas. So you might look at those and go, hang on, I don't know that strategy feeds into everything there. What about tech? Well, it feeds into the tech because when you are choosing a platform that you need to get good at and that you want to get good at, you need to choose that based on the strategy that you have chosen for your business and how you're going to move forwards. And also, that tech platform is going to give you access to a whole load of more assets, such as analytics maybe, that then are going to drive forward and feed into your strategy. So it feeds into everything. So let's just have a look at some of the common website blocks, because I know that you're probably looking at that and going, sales, that's not for me. I'm not doing sales. I'm not good at that. But let's have a look and see what some people are thinking about when they're trying to build a website and they don't actually get very far. And one of the website blocks that I see is that people just don't know where to get started. And if that's you, please reach out to me, because I have a whole load of resources and materials to actually get you started. I have a website starter kit that is going to get you off the ground and start moving you forwards and get you excited about this stuff. So many people say to me, oh, I bought a domain name like 3 years ago. I've done nothing with it because I just simply don't know how to get off the ground. The second website block that I see is people say that their website efforts never truly reflect you and what you do. And often that's because you may be working with a graphic designer or a web designer, and something gets lost in translation, and they can't see the vision for your business in the way that you can. And so this is really common, that if you feel as though your website is not a true reflection of you, it's usually because there has been something that hasn't managed to carry it across. And the third thing is people say online sales feels sleazy because they may have seen people who have built websites and they feel like they're trying to be sold to all the time. And I want to just actually have a reality check here, because you are actually always selling something, whether that's in your personal life or in your business. So in your home life, you might be selling people on where you're going to go out for dinner that night. Maybe it's your spouse or your partner. Or maybe you're actually selling your family on what it is that you're going to cook for dinner that evening, or the film that you want to watch on Netflix tonight. So those are the kind of little small sells that you're doing every single day. And we don't always know that we're doing it. So sometimes we're better at it than we think we are. And in your business, you're always selling something as well. You're selling people on the idea of actually reading that social media post that you've just put out there. Or you're asking them to take some kind of action. Maybe you're asking them to opt in for your free ebook that you've created. That's selling. You're selling them on something. So I just want to point that out, because sometimes people look at that kind of sales thing where they feel like they've got to get good at it and think, well, I can't do that and that's not me. But we need to be selling all the time. So we need to get good at it. Another website block is that some people think that they've tried to create something before and it looked okay, but it just never generated any inquiries. And often that feeds back into that sales thing. It didn't generate inquiries because when people arrived on the site, you weren't asking them to do anything. You weren't actually asking them to take any action on the site. And then website block extraordinaire is perfectionism. And this is just such a massive block for people, because we feel so much pressure to get things right. And then we put it off and we put it off again. And we know the goodness that we want to share with the world. But actually, sometimes we can just get so frozen and can't get started. And so maybe you feel you can't get started until you've got the perfect domain name, or you can't start your site until you have your branding in place or a new headshot, or you can't tell people about your offering until you've thought of a fabulous name for it. Or maybe you can't tell people about your first blog post because then they'd know that you only had one, and so you need to do the next one quickly before promoting your first one. And so it goes on, and we spin into this cycle of perfectionism, which actually is just procrastination. And so I want you to know that you are genuinely not alone. If you are having trouble with any of these blocks, it doesn't mean that you're not meant to be an entrepreneur or that your business is destined for failure. It's just that no one's taught you any of this stuff yet. And no one taught you what kind of tech would be best for your business. No one showed you how to emotionally connect with visitors to your site. No one taught you how to create a journey on your website to encourage visitors to become clients. And you can't expect to be good at something that you've never been taught. It's like expecting a child to just hop onto a bike and ride it perfectly the first time round. And just because she's seen other people on bikes and riding bikes, you'd never think that she was just destined to failure because she had fallen for the first few times that she tried it. And getting good at online marketing and tech and website creation, it's the same kind of thing. It's all a learnable skill. It's something you can become great at. And once you do, then you had better just watch out because your business and your bank account is going to take off. You just need to master a few key practices and you will be light years ahead of where you are now. So let's dive into the website mistakes that you can't afford to make in your business. And let's have a look at why it's important for me to actually help you. And the reason for that is because my first website was hopeless. It was a Sleeping Beauty website because no one had taught me the stuff that would make my website successful. I didn't know a single other entrepreneur when I started out my business. Not a single soul. I didn't know anyone who had started out their own business. And so when I built my first website, I created this. It's not even that, I can't even really call it that much of a Sleeping Beauty website because it's not so beautiful. But it's a website that doesn't follow any of the principles that I'm going to talk you through right now. And the reason why you might notice that it's in German and in English is because my husband was in the military and we were based in Germany at the time. And so this website is what I want you to avoid creating. Like I spent so long trying to pull the visuals on this website together, and this is hand coded. So back then, when I first created this, there was no platform like Wix or Weebly or Squarespace or WordPress to actually build this website on. I had to build every single bit of it from scratch with code. But that doesn't mean that it's a good website. It functioned. And it was just not a great website because it didn't have much strategy behind it. And I've seen too many of those websites. I've seen too many terrible websites, too many Sleeping Beauty websites, and I genuinely want yours to be a cut above the rest. And where there's no one size fits all, there is a proven process that I wish that I had known when I started out. And it doesn't begin with the actual creation process. So let's look at a simplified formula. So we go into this in a lot more depth in my Rock That Website program, but we're going to have a look at these 3 questions. So when people arrive on your website, you can ask these questions and it's going to help you formulate some kind of strategy. Who's coming to your site? What are they wanting to find? And how can you make finding that information as easy as possible? And when you ask these questions, it's amazing what you can uncover. So Delphine discovered, and Delphine came on Rock That Website several years ago, created the most beautiful website called Embody My Truth. And what she discovered was that it was about so much more than building a website. So it forced her to define exactly what her business is about and the kind of clients that she wants to work with and how she wants to communicate with them. And she was saying that as a self-employed psychotherapist and coach, it's really invaluable to have a great website that operates as a vital part of her marketing system and links her with the people that she wants to serve. And she did that by asking some in-depth questions right at the outset. And Mandy went on a similar journey as well. So she came onto Rock That Website and she wanted to grow her business online. And what she discovered was working through the content of the course made her answer some questions that she needed to answer in order to shift her business to the next level. And she goes on to say that the course has turned out to be so much more richer and value add than I ever imagined. Content is excellent. Vicky's amazing in her consistent positive encouragement and wonderful weekly support. So really what we're looking for is a little bit of strategy. And when we're doing that, we need to start with thinking about what the objectives for our website are. And it's really easy to skip this step, but it's really crucial that you do it. So I have some worksheets that you can go ahead and you can fill out. So let's have a think of what should your website be delivering? Because before you're looking at design or content or technology or any of this, you need to think about what you want your website to do. Should it be growing your list? Should it be booking you strategy calls, selling products, driving phone inquiries, growing your Facebook page and your community? Should it be building your YouTube channel? And you might be looking at that list and going, well, actually, I wanted to do all of those things. And it can do all of those things, but it can't do them all at once. So it's a little bit like if you bump into someone that you haven't seen since your school days, you haven't seen them for years and years and years, and they come up to you, they say hi, they're really pleased to see you, and they ask you what you're up to these days, and you say, oh, well, I run this website, it's amazing, and I have this fabulous newsletter that you should really opt into because I send out these great emails every Saturday. And so hop onto my email list and you'll make sure that you get one of those. And I also offer these free discovery calls that are just half an hour, and you could get some great advice from me when you just book one of those calls. So go ahead and schedule one. I have a scheduling page on my website. And also, I sell these fabulous meditation audios. So definitely grab one of those. They're not expensive. And as well, just do pick up my phone, because pick up the phone and call us, because I have a team who answers my phone for me, and they will answer a whole load of great questions for you. And this incredible community that I've got going on Facebook, you should definitely check it out. Come on into the group. And whilst you're there, check out my YouTube channel, because I release new YouTube videos every week. Can you imagine what they would be thinking? They would be absolutely they would just walk away and go, whoa, that was weird. And they wouldn't do any of that stuff because they'd be so freaked out. And that's what it's like on your website. If you're asking people to do all of this stuff, they just won't do any of it. And in fact, they're more likely to just disappear and never come back. So you need to be careful about what you're asking people to, and you need to be really intentional. And so on Rock That website, we work through what that user journey is going to be so that we know what actions we're wanting people to take, and we do it in tiny micro commitments. Because even though you're thinking, oh, well, it's a free strategy call, why would people say no to that? It's half an hour of their time. And also, they're not quite sure what's going to happen on a strategy call. What kind of questions are you going to ask them? Are they going to feel like you're going to pressure them into a one-to-one session with them? So these kind of things are running through people's heads. So when we think, oh, it's a no-brainer, it's free, why would they not sign up? Actually, to someone else, it feels like a big commitment. So we need to be mindful of that. And we need to be really sure of what we want our website to do before it can deliver any of these results. Because what we're asking of it is it won't come to fruition. It won't actually happen unless we're intentional about what we're wanting it to deliver. So after you've listened to this, then grab the worksheet that I'm going to send you with this recording, and just take a moment to fill out the worksheet. And then let's have a look at your actual objectives. So what pages are you going to need in order to fulfill and achieve that objective? Now, the main thing is to just keep things simple. So you don't need a massively elaborate website. And a typical structure for someone who is in a service-based industry, if you're a VA or a graphic designer or a coach or someone who is maybe an accountant, someone's offering some kind of service, a typical structure would be that you would have a home page, about page, services page, and a contact page. Now, if you're blogging, and I would really encourage you to blog, but that can come later if you just want to get started, then obviously you would need a blog area on your page as well. And so think about what those objectives were that you looked at a moment ago, and think about the additional pages that you'll need in order to fulfill those. So if you're wanting people to book strategy calls, you're going to need a scheduling page. If you're wanting to sell your jewelry, then you're going to need a shop page with a cart. If you wanted to grow your list, then you're going to need an opt-in page, somewhere where people can actually arrive on your page and sign up for your list. And then the third thing you're going to need is you're going to need to think about what kind of content you need for those pages that you're going to create. So consider things like your branding, your headshots, your imagery, any lead magnets you need to create. What kind of graphics are you needing? Do you have social proof that you need to gather? Have you got any awards or testimonials, or have you been featured in any press? So these are all things that you need to consider, because they're not necessarily things that you can just pull together overnight. So if you need branding, then you need to speak to a graphic designer and fit in a time in their schedule for them to start work on you and on your project. And then you're going to need to go backwards and forwards to finalize and approve designs. And the same with headshots. You're going to need to book a photographer and fit in with their schedule as to when that's actually going to come about. And so we need to take stock of this of this content that we're needing, and we need to make sure that we're not just trying to do it all in a weekend, because it's not always possible. Some of this is going to take a few weeks or maybe even a few months to actually pull together. So those are some of the basics in terms of content. So let's have a look at the 4 essential secrets of every successful website, because your website needs to actually achieve 4 main things. It needs to achieve clarity, and that's clarity around your audience and your offerings, because it's really easy for us to assume that people actually know what we do. And so this is a header. I took this screenshot a while ago of this header on a page of a corporate website, and it kind of sounds clever and poetical, but this content on here doesn't tell me anything about what they do or how they can improve my life. So a century of pushing the boundaries of what's possible, a future of collaborating and creating the only way we know how, together. It doesn't tell me anything. I'm none the wiser about what they do or why I should hang around on their website to discover more. And then when I went back and had a look to see if they'd changed it, they have, and they have improved it somewhat. So now they say, we add value by designing smart. We have the skills and the ability to tailor our approach to each situation to deliver our best work. So it's a little bit better, but I still don't know what they do. And when I read this, it's very focused on themselves. They're not talking about what benefit is going to be in it for me if I start working with them. And I'll talk about that more in just a moment. But what we need to take out of this is that people don't buy the best products or services. They buy the ones that they understand the most. And so if the only thing that you take away from watching this workshop is this, then that my work is kind of done, because I need people to understand this. So what this means is that your direct competitor could have a much more substandard service than you have. But if their messaging is clearer and people understand more easily what it is that they do, they will buy from your competitor rather than from you. So because they understand it more. So if they're not understanding what it is that you're offering or how you can help them or how you can improve their lives, they're not going to work with you. So it's really important that you understand this. So the second thing that we need to make sure that we are doing is connecting with our audience, because it's not only about the content, it's about the connection. And the most important part of your website is actually what it says. So you need to dictate at least as much time and effort to actually planning and writing the content as you do designing your website. And usually we don't. Usually we get more excited about the images and the graphics and the layout than we do about the words that we're putting on our website. But you should know what you want to say first and then plan everything else around it. But before you start writing, you need to think about the language, the tone, and the personality that you're going to use. And you're going to use that across the board, not just on your website. It's going to be in all your social media posts, in the emails that you send, in the elevator pitch that you do when you're at a networking meeting. All of it needs to be consistent. And so the reason why we need this to be really, really clear and really powerful is because the businesses that we feel connected with are the ones that we are most loyal to. We're loyal to them with our time, and we're loyal to them with our credit card. And the reason for that is that we're naturally inclined towards connection and communication. And we've seen that more than ever in the pandemic. People have really suffered with this lack of connection and communication. We need it, we crave it. And our customers and clients, they need it and crave it too. And They need to feel seen and heard and acknowledged. And as small business owners, it's absolutely our job to make that happen. And you might be saying, but how? How can I do that? How can I make them feel seen and heard and acknowledged? And the way that we do that is by understanding exactly who our customer is, how you can help them, and the precise emotions that they're likely feeling when they actually arrive on your website. So let me give you an example of how this works when we're talking about emotions. So this lady has a really beautiful website. It's clean, it's fresh, it just looks very modern, and it's a really nice site. Now, as she tells us here, she's a top dating coach for men and women. Now, what this says to me when I arrive here is she hasn't really considered the emotions that people are feeling when they arrive on her website. Because the voices in their head are saying things like, I wish I could find someone who loves me for who I am, or why do my relationships never last? And so if she had put something more emotive that speaks to those actual feelings and the voices inside their heads, her headline could have far more impact when people arrive on their site and be far more compelling. So I just switched it around to say, create a passionate and fulfilling relationship that lasts. I can show you how. Now let's just have a look and see if you can really see the difference between those headlines and see the impact that that could have on how people feel when they arrive on her website. So we've taken it from top dating coach for men and women, which is totally all about her, to actually shifting the focus over to her prospective clients and telling them how she is going to improve their lives by helping them create a passionate and fulfilling relationship that lasts, which, referring back to what was going on in their head, is far more compelling for them. So hopefully you can see how that works. And as Denise said, when she came through Rock That website, she was saying that really she had never had that opportunity or really never been guided to actually make those kind of connections before. And she said that the course totally, she just could not express how fully the course had changed her. And and so it's really important. This for her was so much around how it enabled her to make connections that she never would have otherwise meant, or even where she says that she would never have dreamt that she would have. So the third pillar of every successful website is that they are capturing. And so we need to understand that people don't buy from us on their first visit. It's unlikely that they're going to arrive on our website and go, oh, absolutely, this is the person that I need to work with. Let me get my credit card out. So often, and you've seen this before time and time again, when we give away some kind of free resource, and you may have downloaded the cheat sheet that we're looking at now from my website. And this is a way for us to start that relationship and start to nurture that trust with our audience and with our potential clients. And when we do this, it enables us to build a relationship with them by email. And email is still pivotal to growing your business. No matter what anybody says, the return on investment for email far outweighs any return on investment or energy that we put into social media. And so the fourth pillar of every successful website is that it needs to actually convert. So when we think back to what your initial objective was, conversion looks different for everybody. So a conversion to you might be that you're generating leads. For someone else, it might be that they're getting book sales. For someone else, it might be that they're filling their workshops or bringing people into their group. So conversions look different to different people. And all of them are fine. All of them are absolutely valid, but they all feed into that initial objective that we identified much earlier on. And then we need to know what our strategy is going to be to actually meet those objectives and meet that purpose. So each page that you create should be converting visitors to that particular outcome. And a visitor who has arrived on your website, not sure really what your offering is or if they would ever need it, you want them to leave your website convinced that your offering would improve their lives. And it's really that easy. It's about clarity, connection, capturing, and conversion. And it doesn't need to be complex. And I can't stress that enough. Your website does not need to be complex, but it does need to keep evolving. And that's why it's so important for you to have some control over it, because you can be responsible and you can be empowered to keep your website moving and evolving, because we're shifting and changing all the time. And when Fingal came onto Rock That website, he said, I'm just so glad I've taken this route, because having the versatility to add to your own website is absolutely priceless. And even though some people think, oh, I only need a simple website, your business will grow and your needs will evolve. And it's really important to have a website that can reflect those demands, needs, and changes. And Fingal created the most beautiful website. You should check it out after this, thewellnessfoundry.co.uk. And then, because he had access to all of the content still, he then ran through all of the content a second time and created another amazing website for his fashion business. And he did all of that within the space of about 10 weeks. So strategy is actually what differentiates a site from one that looks nice to one that actually brings you clients. So there you have it. Those are the steps to a successful website. I want you to be clear in your messaging, connect with your audience, capture their details, and convert them to clients. Now, if we have a look at how all of that feeds into the actual website creation roadmap that I have, this is the roadmap that I work through on all the websites that I build, and it's the roadmap that I take everybody through on Rock That Website. And some of you will have some of these pieces in place already. If you've ever been through my content, my Confident Website Creation Challenge, you will certainly have the first stages complete. But first of all, and this is what we do in the challenge, is we actually have a look at identifying who it is that we're going to be working with. And at this stage, we should also be identifying our business goals, our ideal clients, and what are kind of like stepping into our own style of how we're going to present ourselves to the world. And then in stage 2, we have a look at branding. So we might look at color palettes, typography. We'll create some mood boards, maybe do a logo and pull together some brand guidelines. And then we can move over to choosing a domain name that's going to be a really powerful domain name for our business. Then we have a look at hosting, which is where our website is going to actually sit. And we purchase a hosting plan, and that's also going to look after all of our professional email addresses. And then from there, we install WordPress and an SSL certificate. And then we choose a theme and we have a look around WordPress and install some plugins. And from there, what I always recommend people do is create a holding page. And this is the first thing that we do on Rock That Website. And there's a few reasons for that. So the first thing is, and basically what a holding page is, it's a temporary page that is live whilst your website is under construction. And so whilst that's happening, what that means is that you can have a beautiful page that is already up and running. It's growing your list for you if you already have a lead magnet. It's generating inquiries. It's also generating a little bit of search engine juice. So you're starting to get a little bit of credibility in search engines because you have something live on that domain name. And that's important. And then when the full website is up and running, what that means is you can literally just pull back the holding page. It's almost like a curtain across the development site. You can just pull back that holding page and reveal the full site and put it live. So once the holding page is built, then we define website objectives and the user journey. So we've just talked about website objectives. What is it that you're wanting people to do, and what do you want your website to actually do for you in terms of deliverables? You know, is it growing your list? Is it bringing in sales? Is it filling your workshops? Whatever it is, that at that point, we're looking at that, and then we're developing a user journey from that. And then once you've identified all of that, then you can start building out your sitemap. So you're identifying all of the pages needed, including landing pages, thank you pages, forms, terms and conditions, privacy policies, all that kind of stuff. And then moving on to actual content creation, we had a look at some of the things that you need to gather together, like your headshots and your lead magnets and any stock imagery or things that you're wanting to be included on the pages before you actually start the creation process. And then, and only then, you start diving into the homepage design. Then you can move on to creating the additional pages, and then you look at integrating with some of the tools that you're going to need for things like scheduling calls or hooking things up to your email provider. When I'm talking about your email provider, I'm talking about MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or ConvertKit, whatever platform you're using. And then we need to optimize our pages for search engines so that we get found organically. And that involves keyword research and writing out meta descriptions. All sounds a bit geeky and techy, but I've absolutely got you covered with that with Rock That Website. And then everything needs testing, because now everything is responsive. So things look different on mobile phones than they look on our desktops. And so we need to make sure that we don't have stuff that's running off the end of the screen or overlapping, or that we can't read because there's text that's on top of images and those kind of things. So even if it looks amazing on our desktop, we need to always be checking it in those other devices as well. We need to be testing forms. We need to be testing social media previews to make sure that it's showing up as we're expecting it to. Testing all our links to make sure there's nothing broken in there. And so that phase is really important before we actually go ahead and go live with the site. And then once that's happened, we're not quite done yet, because there's still some housekeeping to do in terms of installing Google Analytics to make sure that we know what's happening on the website, how people are behaving when they arrive on the website, what pages they're visiting, and also Google Search Console to make sure that we understand what keywords people are searching for to arrive on the site, and just to make sure that we have a really good handle on all of the behavior of people who are actually going ahead and visiting the site. And then once all that is in place, then we can start promoting the website. And we can do that through content creation, through backlinks, through social media marketing, word of mouth, networking, whatever it is. And this is often the part that people become a little bit shy about, and they kind of hide behind their website. But actually, you need to be feeding. So your website is like this machine that constantly needs feeding. We need to be constantly driving traffic to our website. And this is one of the reasons why people just find it exhausting to do this, because this is like that spaghetti approach that I talked about, like throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping some of it's going to stick. We need to be strategic in this part of the journey as well. So now, if we were to remove the fact of how to do it, I would love to think that you are now clear on what you need to do in order to make your website successful. And in my mind, really everybody now has 3 options on how they can move forward. So option 1 is to hire a web designer. Now, I think most of you probably aren't taking this route because you're here because generally you want to be building your own website. But hiring a web designer, it can be a fast option, but it also means you're going to need to put some money towards it. It's going to be an investment. And also you need to be careful about these web designers that you're working with, because they may not know any of these principles of a successful website that we've talked about. So some web designers, they start off life as a graphic designer, and they're amazing at what they do, and they can create fabulous logos and a beautiful website, but they don't know how to create a website that's actually going to convert prospects and visitors into clients. So hiring a web designer is your option number 1. Your option 2 is that you can muddle through alone, and you can kind of piece together bits of information that you can find on the internet. And that's definitely a cheaper route, but it can be slow, and it can definitely be really frustrating because there's no support mechanism for you, and there will be bumps along the road. It's inevitable. I still hit bumps in the road when I'm building websites, and I've been doing it for nearly 20 years. And option 3 is to follow a proven framework and learn a skill that is genuinely going to pay you back for life. And it'll save you money in the long run, and it means you can produce new pages whenever you're needing them. So it's one of these skills that is just going to keep on giving. So you can take the slow, hard, uncertain route and muddle through on your own, or you can join me for the faster, step-by-step, proven process where you have my full and complete support. And honestly, I do believe that if you could do it on your own, you would be doing it already. But you may have felt the frustration of fumbling around online for when you're looking for answers, and then you only end up more confused than you were when you started, because everything seems to conflict with something that you've read somewhere else or another video that you've watched somewhere else. And so you may, if that's not the case, you may just feel that now you have enough to DIY this alone. And that may be the case, but I want to remind you that building a successful website requires you to be lots of different things. A copywriter, a marketer, a designer. You need to be confident with tech and with sales. And this stuff doesn't come easily. This is the stuff that it's taken me a long, long time to get my head around. So I've been marketing since the year dot, but actually the copywriting side of things and the design side of things and the sales side of things, it's been much more difficult for me to get my head around. But now that I've mastered it, honestly, I use these skills every single day. And I truly believe that my business wouldn't be where it was today if it wasn't for the fact that I had learned these skills. I took time to learn them at the outset because I had to out of necessity for the conservation projects that we were doing, but I use them constantly in my work at the moment. And actually, it's easier than you think when you're not doing it on your own. So the tools are so much more intuitive now than they were when I first started out. And so Rock That Website is my signature course. It is a complete system. It's the only course, the only website creation course that's really going to teach you how to be successful online. And the thing that makes me so confident about that is because most entrepreneurs are just amazing at the services that they deliver, but they're not necessarily comfortable or confident or competent in marketing. And it's marketing and sales that's really going to define the success of your business. And so Rock That Website enables you to create your own website with confidence. It enables you to connect, make a really powerful connection with your audience, meaning that you learn how to turn visitors into clients, and it releases you from any reliance on anybody else. You don't ever need to worry about bothering your cousin about some changes that you need him to make on a website that he built for you, or worrying about a relationship with your web designer where he seems to not be available very often, and you feel like you're bothering him every time you're sending through changes to be made, even though you're paying him to make those changes. So when you have the right plan and you take away the overwhelm and the time-wasting distractions and the tech dramas, and when you use the right tools and the right strategy and you add in some accountability and support and years of experience, then you're going to get consistency, focus, momentum, and ultimately you're going to end up with a profitable website. And Anne Hutchinson, bless her, said it's the best investment that she's made in any online course. And I've heard a lot of students say that. So it's an 8-week program, and we work through each module week by week, and you get full access to all of this content when you join the course. I do recommend that people move through it actually in sequence. But we look at the success fundamentals, which is about understanding your ideal client, having a look at your core offerings. In week 2, we look at visuals. That's about branding and logos and fonts and imagery. In week 3, we really get you set up for speed because the actual build process doesn't need to take a long time. So we make sure that your workspace is set up so you can work fast. And then week 4, we have a look at how you can connect with your actual prospects. We look at your core messaging and crafting your user journey. And then we start actually planning and crafting your content and creating your homepage. Then we move on to create all of your other critical pages. We look at blogging, and then there is always housekeeping. So you need to be looking at how to make your website legal. We do final checks and tests, as we talked about when we were going through the roadmap. And then there's other stuff to help you up level your systems. And whether that's your scheduler or your opt-in forms or your sales pages, whatever it might be, we go through all of the stuff that you need to get your successful website up and running online. And at the end of that time, you are going to have a website that you and your clients love. And it's going to be one that brings you in new clients. So what you get from this is you get my client winning website formula. You get access to all of the most recent Confident Website Creation Challenge recordings, whether you've been on that process or not. You get all your tech installations done for you if you are stuck with redirecting your domain name or buying your hosting or installing WordPress, any of that kind of stuff. I go ahead and do it for you, as well as installing Divi for you, which is the theme that I use and which I teach, and I give you lifetime access to it. You get weekly support calls with me to help keep you on track, where we can dive into your website and make sure that you have everything that you need to keep you moving forwards. You get my 18 years of experience at your disposal, and there's a rapid response support Facebook group so that every day I'm in there making sure that I'm answering your questions. And you get lifetime access to Divi, which is in itself is worth £200. And you also get lifetime access to the tutorials and the Q&A recordings, and an opportunity to feature in my Hall of Rockstars, which is an audience of several thousand entrepreneurs. And often when people create their websites, what they really struggle with after that is actually putting themselves out in front of people and getting visible. And so being interviewed by me in my Hall of Rock Stars gives you that opportunity to do that. So once again, this is just visually talking through exactly what I've just told you, what you're going to get access to. So really, I just take away all of the tech dramas and give you as much hands-on help as I possibly can. And you're also going to get peer-to-peer support from other people who are in the group who are working through the same process as you are. They're on the same journey. And so this is what the actual program puts in place for you, but I also have bonuses as well. So if you sign up before Sunday evening, which is the last date that you could possibly sign up because Rock That Website starts the following Monday, you get access to my one-page website kit, which is a choice of 3 one-page websites and layouts that I've created for you, and you have step-by-step video tutorials to go through them so that you can customize them with your own imagery and your own content and your own branding. So it's perfect for getting something up and running really fast whilst you're working through the rest of the course. And you will also get my SEO Rockstars Bootcamp, which is like a mini course to get you started with search engine optimization and understanding everything that you need, like keyword research and how to write descriptions for your page so that it gets picked up by the search engines. And if you're wanting to grow your audience as well, I'm also going to give you access to Email Rockstars, which is a live email marketing masterclass, which is going to teach you about growing your list, communicating with your list. And I'm also going to give you some behind the scenes insights into my email systems that I use in my business. And for those of you who are wanting to deliver courses as well, you will also get access to my Course Tech Quick Start. And this is where I show you exactly how to set up and customize my favorite membership and course delivery platform, which is free for your first 100 subscribers. So it's great to get started on because you don't have any upfront investment or any monthly subscriptions on it. And so I'm also going to give you, if you want some fast money in your pocket, I'm also going to give you my bite-sized bundled bootcamp, which is where you're going to learn the exact steps to create and promote a mini course or workshops to help you bring fast, reliable income into your business, because cash flow is what is often a problem for people. And when you know how to do this, it means that you can have that constant stream of income that a lot of people struggle with when they're on that feast and famine roller coaster that many entrepreneurs find themselves on. And then once your website is live, then you need to start understanding how to drive traffic. And so you get ongoing support in my visibility vaults. You get 3 months free in my membership. And in the membership is just an amazing vault of trainings from both myself and guest experts. So I have guest experts who have come in and talked about how to get more speaking gigs so you can talk from the stage, coming in and talking about paid advertising. Some people come in and talk about mindset and health. Other people come in. I mean, we cover so many different topics, and there's a huge wealth of information and expertise in there. And so these are the bonuses. This is just a quick reminder of those bonuses that are available until Sunday night. And for those of you who are fast action takers, there's an extra bonus available, which is a VIP workshop with me in a small group, and also a £300 discount. So if you join today and you use the coupon code ROCKMyWorld, you will get access to that £300 discount. And Alana, who is a wedding planner, she said this is the best investment that she ever made in her business. She's since gone on from wedding planning, and she now has an e-commerce site that she also built herself using the Rock That Website tutorials, selling baby gifts and baby goods, and it's gorgeous and amazing. So that's just another quick précis of everything that you're going to get and the bonuses. And this is the price that you will pay up until 10 p.m. tonight. And I totally recognize that this is an investment. And for some of you who are just starting out, it feels really scary. And I understand that kind of jittery excitement and anticipation and feeling terrified about what might be lying ahead. And Jolene she sent me this testimonial completely I didn't ask her for it. She just sent it to me on a whim, saying, I just wanted to say that I really feel I've received value for money with my investment in this course. I think you offer so much more than what I thought I had signed up to. The extras that you give us by way of marketing input, extra course content you share on specifics for those who want it, the Visibility Vault membership, and the extras such as the fab branding session I've been to really are over and above what I anticipated. I'm nearly there with my website, just a few content tweaks and SEO optimization to do, and then I'll be fully live. I'll be sure to post and let you know when it happens, which just makes my heart sing. I love the fact that she feels that the course was so much more than she anticipated. And I love over delivering and making sure that people absolutely get the best value that they possibly can. I also make sure that no person gets left behind, because there's always someone who feels as though they are the least proficient in tech. And so I always make sure that I just scoop everybody up to make sure that they are swept along with the excitement and enthusiasm that everybody else is creating within the group with their wins and their successes. So if you feel like this is for you, I would love for you to take your website journey to the next level with me and to sign up for Rock That Website by going to thewebsitementor.com/rock that website. And there's absolutely no risk for you doing this, because if you do the work and you're not satisfied, you can just let me know within 14 days of enrolling, and I will gladly give you a refund with no questions asked. So in order to get started, the regular price is $1,797, but with today's discount, you are going to get this at $1,497. And you can just go to rockthatwebsite.com. You will see 3 payment options. You can either sign up with the full pay option, or you can pay over 3 months or over 6 months. And when you choose one of those options, it's going to take you through to a checkout page. Don't forget to use the coupon code if you are within the fast action early bird pricing window, and then choose which group you would like to join. And then as soon as you do that, you get instant access to the actual content and all the modules, so you can get started even before the group starts on its welcome on its welcome call. So I would love to welcome you onto Rock That Website. If you do want to go ahead and join, please make sure that you use that coupon code. And I cannot wait to find out more about what you're going to create and work with you and find out more about your business. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for your attention and for listening. And I appreciate it's been a lot of information, but hopefully it's given you some really, really strong direction on some of the success pillars that you need to bake into your website. Thank you so much for being here.